yeah, probably the wrong word to use, but
big handful.
Yeah, they've completely ripped open the transfer, the market, and they've put it around in their pocket and bought in players, but they haven't bought in a finisher. Now, Nicholas Jackson's a good player, does a lot of good work outside of the box, makes good runs, intelligent runs, but again, it goes back to that issue they had last season. The balls are going into the box, they've got no one off to finish it. Now, in games like that you saw against West Ham, when you're on top in a game, if you don't score in that period, it can come back to bite you. And it's happened to Chelsea time and time again last season, and it looks like it's happened again this season.
Well, what did you make of that Chelsea performance? It feels like they're not too far away, but at times that feels like a mile.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad performance and it wasn't a great performance. It was in between. They had enough possession to have created more. They needed to create more. And they haven't got a finisher anyway at the moment. So everyone's got to score goals. No forwards yet has scored for them. So far, it's come from a defender and a midfield player, the 2 goals that they've got. So they have got a problem, there's no doubt about it. They have got to dip their hand back into that transfer market again if they're going to go on and do what they need to do to get in that top 4 this year. Some of the play was good, the build-up play. They'll dominate games against certain teams, maybe West Ham. What will they do against the top teams, I think, is a still big question mark. But it's about end product football. If you have possession, you've got to have end product with it. And they didn't have it on the day. I think the penalty miss was a big turning point. I think if they go down the tunnel with that tucked under their belt, I think you see a different Chelsea maybe in the second half.
Yeah, because at that stage, they would have been 2-1 up and going in with a very different mentality. And obviously there was the injury to Chukwuemeka, and then they were sort of forced into... Not forced, but there was a tactical substitution at half-time to try and cope with the loss of him. They are looking for a striker. I mean, it's not exactly a saturated market. There are a lot of buyers and very few products out there for them to go and look for.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a team that have spent a lot of money, I mean, there was the opportunity to bring in the likes of Dusan Vlahovic from Juventus, a player who would have actually filled the box and allowed for all those chances to be converted efficiently. But they do still have the Lukaku weapon that they will sell and perhaps bring in a striker, really, because that is what is missing. When you are a team that can manage over 70% possession, and you're creating a lot of high-quality chances and not converting that is going to prove to be an issue. But I wouldn't be too downbeat. I think this is a side that's newly constructed. A lot of these players, like Moses Caicedo, has just arrived. It's going to take a lot of time to really embed it. And I think especially Pochettino is somebody who takes time to sort of teach his systems, teach his schemes, and then we'll see that sort of bring in and come into fruition around December or January. And I think that's when we'll start seeing Chelsea. I don't know how far or how they've managed themselves along the way, because they don't want to drop too many points while they're trying to find their rhythms. But I do think that there's a lot to be hopeful for. I just wonder from a psychological point of view if losses like that, especially, will start to have an effect on them.
Do you know what? I do wonder about this Lukaku situation. If you're Pochettino, I wonder if he's looking at that thinking, I understand what's happened with Lukaku, but if you're looking for someone to finish chances off, he's been very good over the years. I mean, he's scored a lot of goals in the Premier League, and where else he's been Belgium's all-time record goal scorer. I understand what's come before him, but you're scratching around looking for a centre forward. Yeah. There's one there. Surely they can patch that.
You've got to compare him to what is available perhaps out there and what he can do. All right, they'd have to sit down with him and really talk and communicate with him mentally to get the best out of him. But yeah, I don't think there's anyone out there probably at this moment in time that would go ahead of him. If he was, if Lukaku was out there and he wasn't a Chelsea player, I'm sure he'd be on the list of bringing him into the club. So he's already under their belt. He's already in the building. We could see him. We could see him in a Chelsea shirt still.
It just seems strange to have someone who has scored a lot of goals just to sit there for the whole season and do nothing. Because I know he wants to go to Inter Milan or Juventus or somewhere, but if that doesn't happen and you're Pochettino and you're seeing all this possession and you're not creating opportunities, surely you go to him and just say, "Listen, I know you don't want to be here, and I get it. The fans will be on his back because of the interview that he done and the way he's conducted himself." But we all know in football, fans are quick to forget, aren't they?
Couple goals,
and it's all of a sudden he's the hero
and
again.
it's a different manager, so it's a different, a different sort of situation he'd be going into. But you know the Italian league very well, Mino. Is there an opportunity for him to go to Inter or to go to Juventus? Do they want him?
I mean, he's basically shot himself in the foot because Inter did want to bring him back. And he said it seemed like he had started negotiations with Juventus, which seems very odd to me because Juventus are obviously the team that Inter hate the most. And so doing all those interviews in which you proclaimed your love for Inter to then go for their biggest rivals and wait until that opportunity came for you. They don't have money. They've spent so much money. They got deducted points. They had a lot of off-pitch problems. And they can't really bring him in unless they sell. So what they offered Chelsea is Dusan Vlahovic, but we would need Lukaku plus 40 because Vlahovic is young and considered to be, the next superstar. And they declined the offer, which I found crazy because it's not... You're paying 115 for Moses Caicedo. We know you have the money, and Vlahovic is somebody I would say, to really invest in, but they chose not to go for that. So I don't know whether he's planning on the high end of the market. They might just sell enough to bring in Lukaku Juventus. Or Saudi Saudi Arabia would be the other thing that many Italians think that's his choice, that he's waiting for that. He'll reject, but if it doesn't work out, then he'll go to Saudi Arabia in September.
I mean, you've mentioned Moses Caicedo there as well, and it was his debut for Chelsea. We know what he can do in the Premier League, so there's no question of him settling into a new league, but he is settling into a new team. It didn't go well for him, though, did it? It's not your ideal debut.
Sorry for
and
Quando i governi falliscono